And the focus of my SFP question was beauty standards and classical ballet. So my why question was, why is there an ideal beauty standard in classical ballet? So specifically, I'm going to be talking about gender, race, and body image. So my personal story, I began dancing at the age of 3, so 15 years ago, and I still dance today. I'm actually finishing up this weekend. And I kind of stuck with dance because I really loved it, and I kind of found myself in it. And when you're younger and you grow up, a lot of your friends drop out of things, so a lot of my friends left it. And there's actually only 2 of us, with one other girl who originally started dancing with me, so it's kind of sad to see everyone go and be the only one there left. But you also feel accomplished at the end of it all, because to stick with something for 15 years isn't easy to do, and you get to feel proud of yourself. And it's like I'm graduating from something different. So my first interview was with my lyrical teacher, Taylor Shaw. She has been dancing since the age of 3. She's from Wisconsin. She recently graduated from Columbia College with a major in dance and a minor in marketing and business economics. When I first interviewed her, I was trying to think about what questions I could ask that would help me lead further into my research and what I should be researching. And she brought up the topic of gender issues to me. And she was telling me how in dance, there's always been this traditional gender image of males have to be masculine, feminines have to be feminine, and even on the dance floor, males have to be dominant and take control in life. So she made me want to research further into that. So preconceived notions of gender and ballet. So, as I said, they're presented as symbols between masculine and feminine roles. But lately in the dance world, males have been demanding opportunity to show their full ability. So when they're restricted to just being masculine on the dance floor, they don't get to show their full ability to dance. So doing turns, lifts, and simple pirouettes, they can't always be doing more feminine type moves because it takes away from the image that artistic directors want them to be. So this is Laszlo Major. He's part of an all-male dance troupe in Europe called Les Ballets d'Arcatero de Monte Carlo. He joined it about 2 years ago now, and he had been dancing since the age of 3 as well. And he joined the troupe because he was also struggling to feel like a successful dancer because he couldn't show his full ability. I think this troupe is amazing because it allows for the roles of dominancy and submissiveness to kind of be eliminated, and it's kind of revolutionary because this is shattering the power masculine figure that has been in ballet and in our society for so long. So that's what he looks like when he puts on all the makeup and costume. It's supposed to be kind of comical, and but he's very successful, and the troupe itself is very successful because it's something new and revolutionary. So race and beauty. So it's nothing hidden. White European has always been considered beautiful in society, and these societal constraints have had a toll on Black and Hispanic dancers. So whenever you look at a ballerina, you think ballerina. Look at all the Victoria's Secret models. That's what you get. You don't get anyone who's Black or Hispanic or comes from a background where they're like, oh, I rose to this and I'm so successful. You don't get that. You get a white girl who comes from a very rich family and has had the training and technique and opportunity to go far with her career. So since there have been all these societal constraints, many colored dancers have struggled to find jobs. So one example of something that was helping Black dancers was an all-Black ballet called the Harlem Ballet, but it closed back in 2004 due to lack of funding, and because there was a lot of loss of people just wanting to see Black dancers, which I thought was kind of sad because the company was very great. And back in November of 2009, there were only 2 African-American women out of 5 major dance companies. So the San Francisco Ballet, the American Ballet Theater, New York City Ballet, and Atlanta Ballet, and the Houston Ballet. And there were only 2 dancers. One was a corpse dancer, so the person you see dancing in the background, and one was a soloist. So this is Misty Copeland. She's a principal dancer. She was titled by the American Ballet Theater back in July of 2015, so almost a year ago. And she's the first African-American female in the American Ballet Theater's 75-year history to be given the title of Principal Dancer, which is the highest title a dancer can get. And it's very sad that it took this long for this title just to be given. And there's been a lot of controversy revolved around her, saying that she didn't deserve the title because she was given it too fast, and saying she was only given it because she's black. So the reason why people have been saying that too is because she didn't begin dancing until the age of 13, and she was a professional by the age of 17. So during this 4-year period, she went through a huge custody battle where her dance teachers fought to take custody of her away from her parents because she was getting love, but she came from a family of 6, so she wasn't getting the support she really needed. And they saw something in her, and they wanted to give her the opportunities that she could get to go far with her career. So then she became a soloist for 7 years with the American Ballet Theater. And people are saying, well, that's not long enough. You can't just be a soloist for 7 years and then become a principal dancer. But she did it, and even though people say she wasn't good enough, she's proven herself with her technique and her ability to dance amazingly, better than most people can. Okay, so body image and overall appearance. So back in 1997, Dr. Michelle Waring said that the number of eating disorders in the white middle-class ballerina is 1 in 5. Today, the prevalence of eating disorders is 16.4% in ballerinas still. And something I want to clear here is that ballet is not to blame for anorexia or bulimia. It's artistic directors and the people who force them to do it themselves. So Melissa Sandrug is a freelance dancer, and she talked to Point Magazine, and she said that her artistic director had told her to take hormones at a young age to help her speed up her puberty in life so she could be taller and the ideal Balanchini body figure. But after she took the hormones, it caused her to lose weight. So then she gained slightly too much weight, and she was told to lose the weight that she gained from the hormones they told her to take. And then she was eventually dropped from the company. So this is my ballet teacher, Mary Sherman. She is from Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. Has anyone ever heard of the show Dance Moms? Yeah, okay. It's a horrible show. You know the really brunette, short girl who's always yelling at the dancers, telling them they're not good enough?
Abby.
Okay, she was Abby. She was best friends with Mary's dance teacher growing up. So when Mary was going through puberty herself, and she's very petite. She's shorter than me, super petite figure. And her dance teacher told her, hey, Mary, when are your thighs going to stop rubbing together? I'm like, really? She said that? And she's like, yeah. And she said, it kind of made me feel really self-conscious lately. She's like, I didn't feel it as much because people in her family had danced as well, and they told her not to worry about it. But it did make her feel very self-conscious and like she wasn't good enough for a slight test. But she was very successful now. She went on to dance in New York and teach in New York, and now she's teaching here in Chicago. So this is George Balanchini, surrounded by all the girls that look like typical white Victoria's Secret models. He co-founded the New York City Ballet, and he was an artistic director for 35 years. And he created this idea of the Balanchini body, which is super skinny, small head, no waistline. You're good to go and dance. This is Susan Farrow, and I kind of want to show this image because I think she's the embodiment of everything he considered beautiful. And she is beautiful, but she also shows what beauty should be in ballet, which is believed to be mystical and completely feminine, which isn't true. So my solution is for artistic directors to diversify studios. So it kind of comes back to this whole idea of what is ballet, and ballet is a technique and an art form that gets denounced in life because of its problems and because it's considered too strict. But it's not ballet that's the problem, it's the people who don't. So I believe that if people were to diversify studios more, because there are the colored dancers who can be in these studios, there wouldn't be as many.
Hi, little girl. That's it?
Thanks, Maddie.